Okay, so I'm here with Armand Herczeg. He fought recently on Octagon. He fought in the Czech Republic, Prague. I'm going to ask you a couple of things, obviously, but the stadium looked amazing. You made your debut. Unfortunately, you're on the losing side of a split decision. How you did come in on that fight on very short notice. I want to say 6, 7 days. Um, how do you feel after the fight now that it's all said and done? You've had time to reflect.
Well, I'm one of them boys that will fight anyone, anywhere, at any time. But it's going pro. I've changed my slogan to anyone, anywhere, but give me time. Because 5 minute rounds, they're no joke. 15 minutes. I realized in the fight I wasn't actually fit enough for it, which I thought I was. Thought I was training well enough and fit enough in the spars and all to go in and have a 15-minute fight, and with the pace and output that I wanted to do. But it turned out it wasn't there. Had a little adrenaline dump in the first round. Once I clinched up with him and got him up to the wall, I kind of got excited and I was like, oh, I do this in training a lot. I'm very good in this position and all. And then he defended it well. And even when he was defending it well, like I was so like overconfident on getting my hands together to the body lock to get him down that I didn't even care about his hand on the wrist. Like when he had his hand on my wrist, I was just trying to pull away instead of doing like a figure eight or coming back inside a bicep control or something. And wasn't even breathing correctly or nothing. So I had a big adrenaline dump. And then whenever he was hitting me and all, I started feeling everything. So it was a bit off-putting, but kept going. And then coming out after the first round, I really had him in an armbar and all. So all that stuff, like all that out of adrenaline came up and down, and then go back out for the second round. I could feel that I wasn't as fit as I wanted to be. But it is what it is. Split decision loss against the homeboy. It can happen. One of the judges thought I won. I'm not going to sit and dwell on the result. We're moving on to the next one.
Yeah, and talk to us. Obviously, I thought at the time it was very close. I thought you could have possibly won the fight as well. But like that, you wouldn't have argued whoever it kind of went to. It was one of those type of fights that whoever went to, you're not going to disagree because you're like, you could see it for one, you could see it for another. But obviously, you came in on short notice. Obviously, would that have had an effect on your fitness as well? Or were you
Oh, definitely.
training?
Yeah, definitely. Coming in short notice definitely is what had the effect on my fitness. The stuff that I'm still not doing at which I should have been doing at the professional level. It was just one of them things that the opportunity came and I couldn't say no to it. I don't really like saying no to fights, so I have to learn that I need my time to actually train and get proper fit for these professional fights. And it was a bit of a wake up call as well. So I don't mind it. Like if I went out there and won, I feel like I'm worth $1 billion and I wouldn't care about like the training as much and all. But now I realize I need to get my endurance and all up a lot more. So it's a good wake up call. It's something that's gonna change my whole lifestyle even more. So onto the weights, onto the conditioning even more and all.
100%. And with that, like, talk to us about for your first, you have traveled away anyways, 4 fights with the likes of the IMS and stuff like that. So with the traveling away, how much did you enjoy that? How much did that affect you? Did that affect any of your preparations? Because it would have been different than fighting from home. But like I said, you have done it. What was the experience like traveling away to Prague? And then talk to us about that stadium because it looked epic.
Traveling to Prague and all, it's normal. Like it's all the same to me. Like I've obviously going to Prague for the IMAPs as well. It was the same location and all. But even traveling from here to Derry and spending the night up there and all, like I've practiced all this stuff already. With going up day before weigh-ins and chilling out and all, everything like that. So whenever I got there to the hotel, it was very cool. Like it shows the level that they're at, like the production team and the way they work and how they have their workers and everything. It's brilliant, going for the photo shoots and all. It's all done in structural time and all. So you have to plan after your weigh-ins when you're eating and all around the stuff you have to do as well. But it's very good. Like I was very used to it. I didn't feel like odd to me or anything. I felt like I've done it a million times. Even the walk out and going out into the stadium in front of all them people, I felt like I was at home. It was a real surreal moment. Even when they called out your man and the whole crowd erupted and all, I felt like one of them gladiator moments where you're just in the stadium and everyone's watching you, and obviously like with the fight. But it didn't feel like anything odd. I belonged there. That's literally what I even said in the corner. I went over to Darren and Sid as well, my manager, and I was like, I actually belong here. Like I feel grand and all. So there was no like nerves out of that or anything. I wasn't shitting myself because there's loads of people watching or anything. I felt good. It's literally just came down to the point where when we were fighting, the gas tank went down. But fighting even in a stadium like that, I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But it was beautiful. It was amazing. Even the crowd was unreal. Like even after the fight, I had people texting me. Some people were talking shit to me. Some of his fans were texting me saying, "Oh, I'm shit and all." It was funny. I've never experienced that. That was something new to me where people will actually text me, because in the amateur game you lose a fight, people forget about it the next day. But when you lose a professional, there'll be people texting you like, "Oh, you chatting too much shit" and all this stuff. So it was funny. I enjoyed it. It's great crack. But interacting with the fans, people asking for pictures and all, even after, was great. Like it was amazing. I loved the whole experience. Even in the hotel, there was people that were just staying there, but they knew about Octagon and all, and they talked to me and all about it. I was even home the other day, and I was at a shop, and there was a Czech Republic kid who's studying here, and he was like, "Oh, you were fighting on Octagon," and I was a bit stunned there whenever that happened. But the whole experience was amazing. Like I can't wait to do it again. Octagon, top of the range there. Honestly, the best promotion that obviously I've ever fought on. But even running levels, like they're up there with UFC. Like I heard the way UFC run their shows and all, and they're literally very similar. It's brilliant. The Pavel and Andre, the two owners, are doing a great job.
Yeah, it looks fantastic and it looks well run, and they tell stories as well, as which are like, I think the UFC are really good at telling stories about fighters and kind of building the fight. And I don't think there's the other promotions are good for their fights and their fighters, but I just don't think they can tell stories the way they can. And Octagon seems to, obviously we've seen how they've kind of got behind Shem, which we all know, and how telling his story. And but in regards, obviously you were talking about the fans, talk about your chatting shit. There was the build up for the face offs and all. It was quite tense. He was very angry, but at the end of it, he came over. He made peace. I say, would that be correct in what I'm saying?
In a sense, he's a bit fake. So at the hotel and all, we'd see each other. I'd give me a fist pump, asking me about the weigh-ins and all. So I was like, "Oh, this guy's grand. Like he's not like, because if someone's chatting shit about me, I'm gonna keep it real out of the cameras and in front of the cameras." But then when we faced off, he started screaming at me and all, and I was just like, "Why are you acting big in front of the cameras?" Like. So that's why that whole face-off thing was like me and him chatting shit to each other. I didn't think it would be like that. I thought he was going to continue being respectful. Because see, if he would have continued being respectful throughout the whole thing, I would have been like, "Fair play to you, mate. There's people here calling you a racist and all, talking about whatever your past, and you're able to sit there and be calm about it." But really, it was actually eating away at him, and he just wanted to show off in front of the cameras. And it is what it is, you know. I don't really care. I don't care much about him. I still think if me with a full camp fight him, I beat him no problem. I'd finish him as well. But we just move on, you know. We'll get a new opponent and have a new fight. But he's just someone that is fake. I see it in him. Like he'll act big in front of the cameras and all, but when there's no cameras, he'll try and be all nicey and keep away from it.
Yeah, but I know you say it's fake, but at that moment, obviously, we didn't know it was fake, and for them to put that little clip out, that looked quite. Oh, this is kicking off. That's the fight I want to see. Maybe that's his kind of perspective on it, right? If I do this, this might happen. It might draw more interest, which could potentially happen. Maybe not. But what's next for you now? Obviously, you're signed with Octagon, but what's the plan now after you've taken the loss? You've kind of accepted it. What's the next steps for yourself? Like, when do you plan on fighting again? Is there things you want to work on? Like you said, your gas tank and stuff like that. And is there other maybe positional or drilling stuff you want to work on before you return to the cage?
Definitely. Like, I'm not sure when I'm back. I'll get a call and I'll just answer it and be ready. But for now, gonna continue working on my grappling and all and everything, you know. But mainly want to focus more on my wrestling, because there was a good couple of times where I shot. I just didn't have enough to drive through the opponent. Whereas in that fight, I didn't really mind, because, you know, I can pull guard or whatever and try and tap him, which don't ever recommend pulling guard. But in that situation, it was just after the first round, I was very eager to get the finish, and I was rushing things a bit because I knew I could get it against him. So it is what it is, but I'll be working on my grappling a lot, you know, so that'll be the main thing. Obviously, my striking is still something that I'm still going to be working on and everything as well. I think I just need to set myself up a proper structure on what I'm training and when I'm training and what I'm doing and work that way. It needs to be a bit more focused on, obviously, my endurance and conditioning as well.
Yeah, so obviously you have a plan before you get back in, and like you said, you don't know when you're coming back in. You'll just get the call, and then you'll be ready. So is your plan to just continue training, keep up the cardio and stuff to make sure your gas tank is full, so when the call does come, you're ready to go?
Yeah, exactly. That's really it. Like, I try and be ready as much as I can, but I'm looking forward to something with a full camp, So I think I didn't know about the show until 10 days before it. Didn't know about this until 2 weeks before it. So I hope Octagon will give me an opportunity with a full camp and let me dive in there on someone with a bit of more strength and fitness.
One of the things I noticed about in the fight was you received a headbutt. There was no point taken. What was your reaction to that at the time?
I thought there would have been a point taken. To be honest, the headbutt was the most intentional headbutt I've ever seen in my life. He literally came up and boom, he headbutted me. So that should have been a point taken off him. They split us up and stood us back up, whereas I would have preferred to stay on the ground. So he kind of got the best out of everything. He didn't get a point taken off him, and he got stood up as well. So it is what it is. The referee said it wasn't an intentional headbutt, and at the end of the day, a referee has this last word.
And then you have to kind of go. But as well, obviously, if he's not getting the point, but because you were in that position, I would assume, obviously, I'd have to brush up on it, or I might just ask Declan Larkin or something. When you're in that position and the foul is caused, do you not usually have to go back to the position you were in?
The referee said that the headbutt wasn't intentional, but he lost the position because he was in a more dominant position or something.
Oh, on top.
Some
but
type
you,
of
you were comfortable where you were.
yeah.
That was a more advantageous position for you.
Yeah, 100%. And it is what it is. Like I had a hold of his two hands, and I was going to start working for an armbar or a triangle, and then he just headbutted me. But I kind of it was like a delayed reaction. He hit me, and I goes, "Did he just headbutt me?" And I went, "What the fuck?" And then the ref like broke it up, and then he's looking at him and the ref, and I was like, "Are you taking a point off him? What's the story like?" And then the ref didn't take a point off him. I should have took my 5 minutes to recover a bit more, get my breathing back and all, because I was a bit tired at that stage, but couldn't, because he was like, "Right, can you fight on?" I was like, yeah, I'll fight on, fuck it. And then went back to the fight. It was more like the third round was when I was completely gassed. I kept looking up at the time, and I seen there was like 2 minutes left, and I looked back up again, and there was like a minute 30, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
And what's it like when you're that tired? Because Chael Sonnen always says fighters aren't scared of losing; they're scared of getting tired, because when you're tired, it's so hard. You can't be offensive and defensive. You're really weak and you're really soft. What's it like being that tired? Does it feel like that time is going twice as slow or 3 times so it's 10 times as slow? What's it like being that tired in the fight? Do you feel not? Don't want to say helpless, but you feel like that it potentially won't go your way
Well, if you get tired on a Saturday night, you'll have one of the boys jump in for you and you'll be buzzing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. You do feel helpless, 100%. Time's dragging, and then you're seeing shots. Like there was a stage where like I hit him with a shot, and I was like, oh, right hand after it. So I threw a jab, and I was like, can't even throw the right hand. I didn't have it in me, so I kept every time I like landed a shot, I could see the follow up shot, but I was like too delayed to throw it then, or like I couldn't even feel my legs. So like there's a stage where I just stopped completely kicking and all. It's just one of them things where if you're tired in a fight and someone realizes you're tired, or they're a little bit less tired than you, and they're fit enough to like hit the green button and swing for you, you're fucked. Like, and I was thankful enough that your man was tired as much as me, like, which is good enough though. But I don't know how he was so tired from having a full camp and all. He should have been able to finish me. But it is what it is, I just, even when I was shooting for double legs, I was just shooting on him, and I was like, why is he not kneeing me in the face? That's what I was thinking. I was like, these are clear knees to the head that he can land. And I was just like, he must be wrecked as well. And Darren was saying he was more tired than me, but I was so tired that in my head I was like, he's not more tired than me. He can't be. Do you know what I mean? I was dead. But no, what can we do with it?
Yeah, no, it seems like I'm glad to see that obviously you're in good spirits. You're really good at analyzing the fight and where you went right and where you went wrong and what you could potentially change in the future. And then obviously you're going forward, what you're going to do to fix it. So I'm going to let you go, but it's been a pleasure to talk to you again today. Commiserations obviously on it, but I'm excited to see you in the cage next time. We don't know when that's going to be, but is there anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, just thank you to everyone that supported me. I realised there was a massive amount of support from everyone in Dundalk and outside of Dundalk as well. The whole Irish crowd were behind me, and I really see that, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot, you know. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for my corner, my management team, and Shem and his corner as well. You know, Adam Ventura and Collie as well helped me a lot. Collie helped a lot with the weight cut. I cut weight with Shem, so the two of them looked after me while I was over there. Dan couldn't get over until after the weigh-ins and all, so it was one of them ones where I was on my own, but they took care of me. So big shout out to them and all. So obviously thank you to Darren as well and everyone at Sander and the boys up at FAI as well for helping me throughout the month whenever I was up training there as well. So just thank you to everyone. You know, we're only starting. It's only the first one, not the last one. So we'll be coming better and better.
You know, and I can't wait to see you again and wait to see that the improvements that you've worked on from this one with the gas tank and then some of the other things. So it's been a pleasure to talk to you again, and I can't wait to see you back in the cage again soon.
Thank you.